Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again. And that must mean that I am Professor Robert E.G. Black, and this is the Groundhog Day Project.
It's one of those infinite time loop situations you might have heard about.
It's a thing where the same day keeps happening.
Time.
I wake up every day right here, right in Punxsutawney, and it's always February 2nd.
The last revision is what counts, apparently.
We are in minute 59 of Groundhog Day, almost an hour in, and Phil is in the, what would you call this? The den? The TV room? The living room? I don't know what you call it at a bed and breakfast. It's the room with the TV. It is across the hall from the dining room. We have seen into this room as Phil was leaving Cherry Street a couple times, but we haven't really seen the room until now. And everyone in this room, well, presumably everyone, one of them we only see their knees, so I'm not 100% sure, but everyone else in this room was in the dining room sequence. So we've already seen these people. They were at various tables around the dining room. Mrs. Lancaster, of course, plus other guests from the bed and breakfast, so. I've stayed at bed and breakfasts, like proper bed and breakfasts. One in Ireland, one in, was that Pennsylvania? No, we didn't stay at bed and breakfast. Where did I stay at the other bed and breakfast? I know we stayed in one in Ireland. We stayed in one in England also. No, we stayed... I don't know. The only one I know that was more like this, where it's a house, was one where we stayed in Ireland. The people who owned the place was a husband and wife, and they had 2 kids, I believe, a son and a daughter. At night, you'd see several of the guests might be hanging out in they had a living room that had like a fireplace. And I played board games with the 2 kids a few times because I was a kid myself at the time. It was kind of nice, and it's basically a house. Some bed and breakfasts get a little too big, and then they can feel more like a weird, more like a hotel that just happens to have a breakfast room. And most hotels have breakfast rooms now, so there's a blurry line in between what makes one a hotel and what makes it a bed and breakfast. Or at least, there's a blurry line from my perspective. There's probably a specific standard. Or if you have a certain number of rooms, you have to classify yourself as a hotel. I'm not sure what that standard is, though. Phil's in the Cherry Street, watching Jeopardy, drinking, eating popcorn. He's drifting into his depression phase now after date night fizzled. For us, visually, date night climaxed with a series of slaps from Rita. So, Phil has given up. Not completely yet. He's not at his lowest point, but he's close. We cut at the end of last minute to the TV screen. The answer on the board, this country's largest lake, we come in here, Chapala, is located near the city of Guadalajara. And Phil is immediately, what is Mexico? Or what is Mexico? Which is funny because then it says on the TV, Leslie, because Leslie buzzed in. In my blog, I wrote about this specific episode of Jeopardy and the guests and who won, and the fact that the movie actually skips a question because they did this category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this skips, let's see, we have 400, 600, 1,000. It skips the 800. But in the actual game, they did play the 800. For some reason, they edited this differently for the movie. Phil, of course, says what is Mexico because that is how Leslie says it. So he's already watched this Jeopardy episode. But because I am at an ongoing war with the time loop math truthers who watch Groundhog Day and think it's vital that they calculate exactly how long Phil was in the time loop, this tells us nothing about how long he was in the time loop. He could have watched this episode of Jeopardy the first night, and we've already seen that he's got a good memory. So even though we are on, the 20th iteration of Groundhog Day that we have seen in the film, he could have watched Jeopardy all 20, or this could be the 20th night he's been watching Jeopardy, if this is still the same day. I imagine it's the same day. I imagine this day it started with him in the bed being all depressed and, okay, campers, rise and shine. And don't forget your booties because it's cold out there today. It's cold out there every day. And we cut to Jeopardy. The implication is it's the same day. And I think it is. I think he has pretty much just stayed at the Cherry Street all day. And I wonder what happened in the morning. What do Rita and Larry do? A, at Gobbler's Knob when Phil doesn't show up in time. He already has been showing up at 7:20 when that's like just before the groundhog thing happens. And now he just doesn't show up at all. Does Rita grab the hold the mic up and do the report herself? Maybe. After she does that, does she get Larry to drive her over to the Cherry Street? Because the van would work today, because Phil hasn't been there to pull the thing out of the engine. Does she drive over there and give Phil a talking to, and he is not receptive, and he just ignores her and goes back to bed? What happened today? We're cutting from 6 in the morning, roughly, to this is evening or night. Don't know exact time, because Jeopardy is syndicated. This isn't the episode from, I don't think. Oh, no, it might be an episode from 91. But it's not an episode that was, like, brand new on February 2nd.
Jumping in from editing to point out that, hey, if you want something for the Goofs page, it's this. The movie is set on Groundhog Day 1991. This episode of Jeopardy is from November 1991. Specifically, November 11th. Which means it could have been in reruns in 92, so it could have been a new episode when they were filming. Or not a new episode, but airing when they're filming. But it's technically wrong. There you go, Goofs people. Have it.
So, what is Mexico? Leslie says, correct. She calls for lakes and rivers 400. Seneca is the largest of these lakes in west central New York. And Phil is on it. What are the Finger Lakes? And the people around the room they're starting to notice Phil's getting everything right. Jim buzzes in. Jim, what are the Finger Lakes? Correct. And it's one of the old people on the couch, right? That says, that's amazing. Lakes and rivers for 600. That's what Jim goes for. This South American lake drains into the smaller Lake Pupo in Bolivia. I love that because we can't quite hear the category or the end of the clue here. I never got that okay. In English, Titicaca's funny, right? But it's even funnier when you know that it drains into the Lake Pupu. But in this instance of hearing that, we don't quite hear the poo-poo part because Phil's already talking. Before the thing is done, what is Titicaca? Alice calls for Jim. What is Titicaca? Correct. Lakes and rivers for 1,000. Milky colored from glacial clay, and Phil is already answering, and he turns to look toward Mrs. Lancaster as he does. What is the Rhone? When entering Lake Geneva, this river is clear blue upon exiting. Jim, what is the Rhone? No, actually, let's do Jim's proper pronunciation. What is the Rhone? I love how he says Rhone. I'm sorry to make fun of the real guy, and this isn't an actor playing a part. This is a real guy. But Jim says Rhone so weird. Like, run. Like he doesn't quite have the sounds in it. It's funny. It's always amused me. The Rhone is good for $1,000. You are $500 off the lead. Jim calls for it. Let's go to Inventors for $200. Phil has been drinking. He's eating popcorn. He's just showing off in front of all these old people. Well, they're not all old people. The one couple is in here, and they're not that old from the look of them. Probably late 20s or 30s, maybe. We cut. So, 21st iteration of Groundhog Day that we have seen. Phil is at Gobbler's Knob. We cut directly to he's already speaking. This is pitiful. 1,000 people freezing their butts off, waiting to worship a rat. What a hype. Groundhog Day used to mean something in this town. And he's like turning his head and looking around at the people. They used to pull the hog out and they used to eat it. You're hypocrites. All of you. For the record, yes, they did used to eat the groundhog, and I think some people still do. I don't think they pulled the hog out and ate it. They actually would have gone and hunted it, probably with rifles. The first Groundhog Day that's up on the poster, 1887, was just a hunting trip. A bunch of guys went out on Groundhog Day knowing that groundhogs might pop out of their things in midwinter. They went hunting, shot some groundhogs, cooked them up for dinner, and ate them. Still in the report, so still on camera, still being recorded. This is why I wish these reports were live, because this would be even more outlandish that he is doing this. Phil says to Larry, "You got a problem with what I'm saying, Larry?" He'll continue on this tone next minute. Oof. Yeah, he's flailing. He is dropping into the darkness of the time loop. It's not going well right now, but that's all I got for minute 59. Until next time, I don't know, get out of your darkness or, call other people out for their bullshit. There are horrible things happening out there. I'm recording this on July 3rd when they spent all night trying to pass Trump's big, beautiful bill, and it's not a good thing. And by now it might be technically be past. I haven't seen the latest update because I was just in class for the last couple hours, so. Yeah, take care of yourself. Take care of others. And if you need to be taken care of, let someone take care of you.
Knew you were gonna say that.
This has been a production of Lemming Drops Studio. You can find links to more at lemmingdrops.com or join the Facebook group Lemming Drops Studio Tour. Also, you can support all my shows at patreon.com/lemmingdrops.
What is wrong in the end which never comes? Or which comes again and again, laughing, like waves.
Since the Big Bang set everything in motion, everything that happens in this universe has to be the way it is. Particles unfolding the way they're destined to.
How do you sleep at night? You've never seen Groundhog Day?
Yeah, you know Groundhog Day is not a documentary.
Remember when Groundhog Day was just a movie?